Welcome to the Executive Bite. My name is Kyle Rowland. Today we're going to talk about re-entrancy. So back in the early days, DOS, 286s, 386s, that kind of time frame, a lot of the user software that we put to use was single-threaded. So we would have one thread of execution, one app running, as it were, and that would just be the thing that was going. So by today's standard, it seems a little backward, but that was the power that the computers were able to put into our hands, and that's what we did. And we did some useful things with that. To sort of fake out and do some basic multitasking, we would hook interrupts off the CPU. So the CPU would get interrupts for timers or keyboard presses or what have you, and then you could intercept those and do interesting things as a part of it. So the timer interrupt was a fun one because you could, every 30 seconds you could take control of the processor and do something, maybe handle a print spool or something along those lines. So there was an aspect of these called re-entrancy that you had to plan for if you were writing an interrupt routine. So it was possible that you're in the middle of an interrupt, if you don't turn the interrupt routines off, that you could actually get called again. And so you could manage your state in such a way that you would be re-entrant. That is, you'd be able to be called while you were in the middle of processing a previous call. Some of DOS's interrupts, 21, 13, the disk handler, the main DOS interrupt, were notably not re-entrant on purpose because of some of the things that they were doing. Just by the nature of them, you couldn't start over in the middle of them. But for us writing our own interrupt handlers, re-entrancy was a possibility, and it was actually kind of nice because you didn't have to do a lot of, you didn't have to worry about whether you were getting called, because you've handled the state properly, you've set up the program such that you can handle it when another interrupt comes through. So this is an interesting metaphor for software developers in particular. So software developers should be re-entrant as they're building their software. You should be able to interrupt a software developer. This takes some management of state. It takes having a workflow that permits it, just like in the hardware interrupt case. But once you have that in place, you have the ability to just pick up and continue to work where you left off. The two big pieces of that are that you're breaking down the work that's coming into the developer down to the smallest possible piece that's user focused, not technology focused, and also that you're building in a TDD fashion, so the standard TDD cycle. If you do these two things, your developers will be re-entrant. Pop-up water cooler discussions that take things in a different direction will be okay. In fact, they'll be welcomed. And then within seconds of sitting down in front of their code, they'll be able to pick up and go again. So as you're thinking about how your developer's working, if you're hearing a lot of complaints about we don't get enough focus time, it could be really that the workflow the engineers are using is not permitting re-entrancy in this way. So that's definitely something as a leader we can be educating on and putting our developers in the right headspace and with the right set of skills to be able to do that. So this has been the Executive Bite. Thanks so much for joining. My name is Kyle Rowland. I hope to see you again next time.